with our signature segment, Say What, where we roll out some of the most wacky, astonishing, and damnable things uttered by politicians and the chattering class on the events and issues of the day. President Trump's ongoing beatdown on the elite establishment media came into sharp focus this week when the so-called journalist Jim Acosta of CNN, who's making a living off grandstanding and testifying at those press briefings with Press Secretary Sarah Sanders, was treated rudely by Trump supporters at a rally for the president in Florida.
The White House has held only 3 briefings for the press this month and 8 total since the end of May. There is no other way to describe what the White House is doing these days. Wolf, top officials, including the president, are hiding from the press. And Wolf, just to give you a sense as to what's happening right now, you can hear there is a chorus of boos and other chants from this Trump crowd here in Tampa, Florida. They're saying things like CNN sucks, go home, and fake news. Wolf, obviously, all of those things are false.
Oh, yes, all those things are obviously false. So the next day, Acosta said those Trump supporters are essentially un-American.
Honestly, it felt like we weren't in America anymore. I don't know how to put it any more plainly than that. Americans should not be treating their fellow Americans in this way. The president, during the campaign, referred to us as the dishonest media, the disgusting news media, liars, scum, and thieves, and so on. And then he rolled that right into the Oval Office and started calling us fake news and the enemy of the people. He is whipping these crowds up into a frenzy to the point where they really want to come after us.
But Acosta was just getting warmed up. He went to the press briefing at the White House, pulled another of his grandstanding ploys about Trump calling the media the enemy of the people, and got smacked down big time by Sarah Sanders.
You did not say that the press is not the enemy of the people. And I think it would be a good thing if you were to say right here at this briefing that the press are not the enemy of the people. I think we deserve that.
It's ironic, Jim. Repeatedly, the media resorts to personal attacks without any content other than to incite anger. The media has attacked me personally on a number of occasions, including your own network, said I should be harassed as a life sentence, that I should be choked. ICE officials are not welcomed in their place of worship, and personal information is shared on the internet. When I was hosted by the Correspondents Association, of which almost all of you are members of, you brought a comedian up to attack my appearance and call me a traitor to my own gender. In fact, as I know, as far as I know, I'm the first press secretary in the history of the United States that's required Secret Service protection.
That was a wow response from Sarah Sanders. And, you know, Acosta and his biased colleagues in the elite media don't have a clue as to why these people hate them so much. No idea why they've been seething with resentment for years, which has only been made worse by the 90% negative coverage of Trump in the establishment legacy media. I mean, conservatives have been begging for years for someone, anyone, who will call out and take on the biased elite establishment media. And Donald Trump is, at last, that man. The last Republican president, George W. Bush, took a pounding from the leftist media, never responded, never fought back, never called them out, and watched as his approval numbers dropped through the floor into the 20s. And he became virtually irrelevant over the last couple years of his presidency. That will not happen with President Trump. He will answer every slight and call out every fake news story, and some which are not fake but are misleading, mostly through misleading headlines, which is all that many people read. Now, another of the most clueless of the anti-Trump sycophants on CNN is media analyst Brian Stelter.
I think what we are increasingly seeing from the president and his aides and his allies is a hate movement against the American press. When you look at the behavior around Jim Acosta and some of the other reporters at these rallies, President Trump is not just telling people to ignore the press or not believe the press. He's really telling people to hate journalists. And because he's holding rallies more and more often, we are seeing it more and more often. And that's why reporters like Acosta are saying this is worrisome. Someone might get hurt.
A hate movement. Leftists like Acosta accuse Trump supporters of a hate movement. So shall we revisit some of the statements made by high-profile leftists about Donald Trump?
With this kind of inspiration, I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president? It's been a while. And maybe it's time.
How dare he say the things he does? Of course I want to punch him in the face.
Right. Yes.
The press always asks me, don't I wish I were debating him? No, I wish we were in high school. I could take him behind the gym. That's what I wish.
Maxine Waters, Madonna, Johnny Depp, Robert De Niro, and esteemed former Vice President Joe Biden in a collage compiled by the Sean Hannity Show. No hate coming from that direction, but it's not just leftists. It's also never-Trumpers, Republicans and conservatives who have not only abandoned Trump, but attack him every day on TV. Among them, GOP establishment figure Nicole Wallace, now on MSNBC, who has decided to censor White House press briefings after hearing Sarah Sanders refusing to bow to Mr. Acosta.
You know, we're not going to air that anymore. Let's make that the last Sarah Huckabee Sanders clip ever aired at 4 o'clock. Yeah, that's it. You know what? That makes me sweat. That is vile.
Well, and the previous answer.
That made me sweat.
The previous answer
this
that we
didn't. This is someone who complains about a restaurant that exercises their First Amendment right to kick out someone that they think is obliterating democratic norms. I seriously, that made me sweat.
We'll talk a whole lot more about never-Trump Republicans like Nicole Wallace a bit later on when we discuss the de facto leader of the never-Trump movement seriously considering a challenge to the president for the GOP nomination in 2020.